Namaste everyone. My name is Shaunak Chaudhary, and today we are joined by Professor Arun Kumar, and we'll be talking about his vast academic journey. Professor Kumar is an academician, an author, a guru, a consultant, and an entrepreneur. He wears many hats. Professor Kumar has been working with the University of Allahabad as professor prominently in the areas of application of information and communications technology in businesses, organization and personal effectiveness, and quality management systems, and many more. Professor Kumar has been associated with institutions of national and international repute for academic and research work. Professor Kumar also has a vast experience in corporate training. He has been working with Franklin Covey South Asia and is certified for many other corporate training programs. He has an array of experience of organizing and steering or occasions like workshops, seminars, meets, training programs, talks, presentations at academic, corporate, and social institutions. Sir, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Chanak. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me. And it's wonderful to be with you and interact with you in this podcast.
Sir, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Sir, the audience would like to have a sneak peek onto your vast academic and corporate and entrepreneurial journey. So, you have been associated with many institutions of national and international repute for both academic and research work. How have these associations shaped up your academic journey?
Thank you very much. You see, a teacher or the professor is supposed to connect with the student. If the person is in a position to have exposure to various walks of life and as many as, say, experiences, exposure, then he'll be able to connect with the students easily. We'll be able to work with the fellow teachers, professors, with other department teachers as well. So this helped me in a very significant manner. I am life member of the India International Center as well, where I get this opportunity to interact with intellectuals of not only this country, but from other countries as well. So this enhances my dimensions and vistas of life towards the discipline in which I am working, and I'm in a position to get a lot of understanding of various other disciplines of academic pursuit.
Thank you, sir, for answering that question. And this brings me to the point that I mentioned as an introduction of yours in the beginning. You have been an author as well, a vast academic experience you have in your backpack, and you have authored 78 books and 30 research papers. What motivates you to write, and how do you manage to find time to write amidst your busy schedule? Like I said, you wear a lot of hats. So how do you manage your?
Recently, I was communicating with a childhood friend of mine. He is a retired principal commissioner of GST, Mr. Pradeep Goyal, and he reminded me one simple thing, that you can be ast-vyast, you cannot be vyast. So you cannot be busy if you're not organized, then you will be ast-vyast. So probably I'm not that much ast-vyast, so I'm not vyast. About the books and the research papers, this all is accidental. Nothing happened by choice, all with deliberate efforts. I remember I used to interact with the students of chartered accountancy in the city of Prayagraj as early as in 86, 87. At that time, we were not having enough teachers to teach CA courses. Like right now, we have hundreds and hundreds of teachers to teach any paper in the chartered accountancy or the company secretary or the cost and management accountant. At that time, there was a dearth of teachers, and I used to interact with the students. Even I was not very confident. At that time, uh, I found that there was a gap in publishing industry or the material which is available to the students. Either we were having textbooks or the unsolved or solved papers. But the challenge with the students was that they were not in a position to find past year questions related to the topic which they have studied. And out of the complete question paper, it was really difficult for the students to identify that question which is related to their topic. So what I started identifying those questions, making a bunch of all those questions, and giving the bunch to the students to solve as a practice session or the practice question set. They qualified. Obviously, anybody will be able to get benefited out of it. Then they pushed me, or rather pressurized me, to get it published. I approached various publishers. I couldn't sell the idea to them. And being a teacher, it was really difficult for me to say compromise on the ego of a teacher. So I said, no, forget about it, and there's no point in getting it published. So again, my friends and students pressurized me, or rather persuaded me, motivated me to publish it myself. So I remember that our first book was a cyclostyle book. There was a technology known as cyclostyle to produce multiple copies of a sheet of paper. And we produced the cyclostyle copies. I remember that I bought a second-hand cyclostyle machine for 3,000 rupees.
Yeah.
And my wife used to work and she used to manage everything. I used to produce the books only. And we sold, or rather she sold the books with the help of Gangaram Book Depot, Bangalore, which was the Asia's biggest bookshop. C. Sitaraman, Chennai, M&J Services, Mumbai, Das Gupta and Company, Kolkata, and almost everybody, all the huge booksellers of the country, they started selling our books. Over a period of time, we could save some money and then go to the modern technology for reproduction of the books. When this first book got published, then we started getting demand for many more such books of all such papers of CA, that is Chartered Accountancy, of CS, that is Company Secretary, and for CMA, at that time it was known as ICWA, and every course is having about 25 papers. So over a period of time, 70 to 75 books got published. And I kept on working on them. I did that for about 2.5 decades. Now the young generation is there. My sons are chartered accountant and my daughter-in-laws are also duly qualified. So they are looking after this activity for the last maybe 1 decade. And about the research papers, yes. While interacting with the students, you come across with any ambiguity or the gap. Like I remember in 2004, I was telling this in the classroom that management is nothing but a common sense. Management is common sense. And then I got this a quote in my mind by Stephen, who said that common sense is most uncommon. So it was a question for me. If it is uncommon, then why it's being termed as common? So I started working in it. And then I found there are books on common sense related to a specific area, common sense parenting, common sense management, but not common sense per se. So I started working in this area, a study to even Yuruto Motashi, 13th century philosopher of Japan. And then in 2013, I wrote a book, Common Sense Living. We have a website also, which is known as commonsenseliving.in. So in this manner, it keeps on happening. So nothing planned, but it happens.
Okay. Sir, the answer you gave us and it kind of gave me a sneak peek preview of your entrepreneurial journey. And I would like to come back to this point in the later half of this podcast that we are doing.
Mhm.
Uh, Sir, you have been involved in organizing various academic, corporate, and social events, and I would like to delve into your own personal experiences regarding all these type of events that you have conducted. So, could you share some of your most memorable experiences in organizing these?
Most memorable. Okay, okay. I remember one event. I was very young teacher at that time, 1988. So we were having All India Commerce Conference in Allahabad. At that time, it was known as Allahabad. Now it's Prayagraj. And all of a sudden, we found that the area which was reserved for the stay of VIPs, means all the senior professors of the country, was not allowed to be used by the local administration because of local Mela. And now it was a huge question or challenge for us where all such VIPs will stay. It was a crisis for us. So I shared this with one of my friends who was in army, and few barracks of local cantonment area were available because the army was out for some exercise. And then the army came to our rescue and they provided barracks to us, beautifully designed, equipped for our professors. So this is one thing I'm in a position to remember. Another thing I remember, I was part of the team which was say managing this huge conference of Stephen Covey. And during the lunchtime, Stephen said, "I want to take rest," and it was in Taj, Delhi. And we were not ready for that. There was no room booked for Stephen. And it takes time to get a room in any five-star property. So Stephen could understand. And then he said, "Okay, no issues, no issues. I'll take rest at the back of the stage." And friends, I was surprised to see that even a celebrity like Stephen or the person like Stephen, like he took the rest behind the stage on the carpet. He slept for 20 minutes. So such kind of crisis management always happens whenever you are managing such conferences or events. And you learn, yeah, you keep on learning. Then you
Ah,
understand. Mm.
right, right, sir. So, these type of experiences and the type of problem solving skills that one exhibits in these type of situation. So this also ties in with your uh, entrepreneurial hat that you wear. So I always think that entrepreneurship is mostly problem solving and crisis management,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
I
sir,
used to. Mhm.
yeah, sir, please continue, sir.
You complete, please.
No, sir, I wanted to talk to you about something which is very specific to your journey. And you are a pioneer in the field of professional education in India with the invention of the scanner. So can you tell us more about how you came up with this idea and how it has impacted education as a whole or the education sector in India?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can't claim, or it's wrong to say that I'm pioneer of professional education. Yeah, I'm pioneer of introducing this new layer of books in the country for professional education. Many publishers try to follow us, but unfortunately they couldn't succeed because it's a different ball game altogether. You have to be honest. You have to be uh, say not that much profit conscious, and you have to keep the benefit or the advantage your customer is going to get in your mind always. I'm from a Agrawal family, although my father was a judge. So, but all my uncles, maternal uncles, Tauji, Fupaji, Chachaji, everybody was in business. So my maternal uncle, Mamaji, he used to say that, see, where is the gap, identify the vacuum, and then try to do something to fill this gap. Even today, in the Shark Tank, they say, what is the problem you're going to address? So what is this problem or the pain point which your solution is going to address? So as a maybe observer, or you may say keen observer, I keep on identifying those gap areas, and then I keep on throwing those ideas to my friends. Most of the friends are chartered accountants, and they share the ideas to the entrepreneurs, and then they come to me, and then I guide them, and I guide them and help them in identifying the structure. And that's why I studied this ISO 9001 also. Like 2 days ago, I was in Pune and I was having the darshan of Daglu State Ganpati Maharaj, and I got this set. No, I'm just sharing how an idea emerges. No, I got this sketch uh, on my hand,
Yeah.
and then I found where to go for the first aid in this country at 6 p.m. in the evening. If you want to get catwalk done, no open source clinic is available. Just see the gap. Just see how I identified the gap. Now, all the sample collection centers, maybe from Lal Pathology or the Apollo or SRL or whatever, they are having nothing to do after by and large 10:30 a.m. Most of the blood sample collection and sample
Right.
collection completes by 10:30, 11. And then they are having nothing to do. All such centers can be converted into first aid centers also. In this manner, you identify the gap and then go for sharing such ideas with the entrepreneurs, and then they start working on it because you perceived it. So people say, "No, you are an entrepreneur. You are in a position to identify that gap." Well, yeah. So I keep on helping them.
So, viewers, this is Entrepreneurship 101 or Management 101 for you guys. And, sir, a few moments ago, I did say that we're going to dive a bit deep on your entrepreneurial journey or your entrepreneurial endeavors. So, I just wanted to know that you have been directing companies for more than 2 decades. So, how do you manage or balance your academic pursuit with your entrepreneurial pursuit? Because it must be tiring, but also that you said that you try to manage your time much in a much better way. Give us a sneak peek of how do you manage your academic and entrepreneurial endeavors.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, it's a fallacy about me. People feel that I'm director of so many companies and I must be working hard, and it's really tough to manage the time. You see, I'm independent director. I'm not executive director or the functional role I'm playing there. A lot of people are there. They are entrepreneurs. At times I invest. At times they don't need investment, so I don't invest. I just go and help them out, and then they start doing it themselves. So that way, I'm director. I'm in a position to help, say, maybe my wife, next generation entrepreneurs of my entire family. We are from Agrawal family, as you know. So well, every time you have a young person in the family
Hmm.
bubbling with energy to do something, and now you have an idea, or you are in a position to idea which they are bringing with them, and now you can say polish it and then help them out to get it executed. So, like in the month of August 2022, my daughter-in-law came up with an idea, and few of my students and other persons they came up with an idea, and then they got incorporated this one software development company. I'm also one of the investors in that company, And now this company, known as Aliva Softech Solutions Private Limited, is a startup company recognized by Government of India and Government of Uttar Pradesh as well. So they have gone for the seed funding also. So it keeps on happening. So like I already said, that you cannot be Vyast. You may be Ast-Vyast, but not Vyast. So I'm not that much Ast-Vyast. I can't claim that I'm not Ast-Vyast. Yeah, I am also Ast-Vyast, but maybe 5%, 2%, 3%, at times maybe 10%. But by and large, I'm not Ast-Vyast. I am in a position to manage my time well and see what can I do. I am in a position to prioritize what requires my attention and time at this moment. Yeah, I always say, even my next generation says, Dad, how are you in a position to do so much? I say, you see, my priorities are very clear. First, my family. Second, my friends. Third, my university. Fourth, my colleagues, and so on. So, when the priorities are clear, then you are in a position to contribute.
That is like a pretty good introduction to a time management workshop, I would say. And I think the viewers would think on these lines as to how they can manage their time by prioritizing like what should be on their priority list on the first place, and like maintaining a sort of a list would be a ranking list would really help them.
Oh no, sorry, Rak, but this may be a biased list also, because this is
Yeah,
my,
of course.
yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So, sir, I would like to steer the conversation on a different direction now. So, your recent interest is in the infusion of spiritual training and practice into a commoner's life. How do you see spirituality contributing to a normal person, his personal life or their professional life? How would you see that spirituality uh, contributes to the maximum?
Wonderful. Thank you very much. You have covered a whole lot of my experience in few sentences. You see, when I started helping my family members and the colleagues, and then it was like developing systems to run the business or organization. I remember one of my colleague, Professor R.K. Singh, Ritesh Kumar Singh, he was Dean Faculty of Commerce in Delhi School of Economics. He also developed a manual to run the faculty and the department. When I started helping my colleagues and the entrepreneurs in the process of development of manual or standard operating procedures, I found that the SOPs are so huge that we need to use technology for that. So I started learning technology. Then I understood that technology is of no use if the person sitting
Mhm.
behind the technology and seeing is not committed to it. So I started learning 7 habits of highly effective people. Then I found that any tool will not help unless you are connected to the larger entity or the cosmos. If you are in a position to understand that you're tiny part of this entire universe, and then you are contributing vairagya bhav. If you are contributing with a vairagya bhav, with a with a realization that it's all is grace, and with attitude of surrender, then things start happening. Then the results are amazing. So I started talking in this manner and in these terms. So then people said that, yeah, is it a spiritual training or a spiritual aspect of the business or the life? So I don't disagree. I don't agree. But this is the way I have understood and seen the things. Once I was delivering a talk for the parents of St. Mary's Convent students. We have a very prestigious school in Prayagraj known as St. Mary's Convent, and I delivered a talk for the parents of the girls. So Sister Christina wrote this letter to me that today you spoke like a priest. I don't know where the priest is. I talked about something which I realized over a period of time.
Sir, this point of like infusing spiritual training and practices, I think this topic in itself is an entirely different podcast.
Mm.
And if your time allows, we should definitely do it in a future podcast.
Yes.
And that's why I'm not getting into much additional questions on this uh, exact topic, and we'll definitely do a podcast on this.
I'll love
So,
to do that. I'm sorry for interruption, but I love to do
sure.
that because I have experienced it. And during Corona, I completed my 900 hours course for yoga, and I'm certified teacher and facilitator and evaluator for yogic practices also from Yoga Certification Board, Ayush Mantralaya. So it's a wonderful journey. I'll love to talk to you about this as well.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sir, this sounds very interesting, and I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that, sir.
sure.
So, sir, as a consultant in various areas such as quality management system, IT audits, and human resource management, what do you think are the most important factors for an organization to be successful in these areas that I mentioned, or these areas that you have been working? So, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, be it quality, be it business systems, or IT enabled systems, or information systems audit, or personal effectiveness, or professional effectiveness, everything boils down to one thing. That is your connect with the vision of the maybe team, group, institution, family, society, organization, or the nation. Are you in a position to connect yourself with the organization or the group or the team or the company you're working for? So if you are connected, you are in a position to understand the DNA of the organization, value system of the organization, and you are in a position to connect with the vision of the organization, then there'll be no discord, there'll be no dispute. You'll be able to contribute to the fullest. And for this, emotional connect is the most important thing. I'm not in a position to claim, rather, I know that even I need to be trained or I need to work in the area of emotional maturity. Once in maybe 2005 or 6, I joined Toastmasters International. And after my first speech in this Toastmasters International, it's a international club for public speaking. People ask, you speak so well, so why are you here? So I said, I know that I can speak and can deliver the talks, but I'm here to gain emotional maturity. So, to my mind, in the modern times when technology has overpowered everything, we need to understand the impact of or the role of emotional maturity more. And if we are in a position to connect with others, or we are in a position to connect others with us from the emotional point of view, everything will start happening. So the trust level is very high, and the communication is easy. Even you can communicate without uttering a word. तो मैं चुप था तो चलती हवा रुक गई जुबा सब समझते हैं जज्बात की. So the jazbat is really important.
Right, right. Sir, with your vast academic experience, I want to address a question which might be on the minds of a lot of young researchers, or who are getting into research, or who are trying to, or who are working on their doctoral thesis. So you have supervised 14 doctoral theses, which is quite an accomplishment. Can you share some advice to the current PhD students who are struggling with their research or specifically their writing process?
Wow. Yeah, I have enjoyed my journey of this research with my research students, and initially my research with my Professor late Professor Shipratap Singh Sahab, with whom I did my PhD, and then um, the journey onwards with 14 research scholars, those who have completed, and 4 are still in pipeline. So my research scholars were having various backgrounds. No, like I have Muslims, I had Christians, Bengalis, Punjabis, almost every walk of life and every religion and sect. And I used to understand their thought process and learn from them and so on. Recently, one research scholar is working with me. She's Mahebash Nashu, and her topic is related to uh, social media marketing of India as destination marriage of the world. So I said, okay, you define the marriage. So she said, marriage is a contract. Oh, see, she's a Muslim. So for her,
Mhm.
understanding of marriage is only contract. I said, no, beta, study about it. We have 6 major religions of the world. You're talking about only one. What about the rest of the 5? So let's understand the term marriage. So what am I trying to highlight at this moment? I keep on sharing this with my every research scholar, that you remain hooked to your topic. Keep on churning, keep on reading, keep on studying, remain focused, understand the terms, understand the definition, understand what's happening around the topic. So if you're focused, hooked to your topic, the rest of the things will start falling in place. You'll be able to find the purpose, you will be able to create, generate, fabricate, or maybe craft the hypothesis. You may be able to find the appropriate literature. You'll be able to find the audience, which we say sample, or the population, and then within the population, you will be able to identify. You will be able to find the ways to identify the sample size, etc., so that it may be representative. But the basic thing is that remain hooked to the idea, the statement, the topic with which you started.
Sir, the way you explained it, I have something on my mind and I would like you to sort of corroborate it. Do you think that personal biases do creep in when somebody is doing research?
Why not?
Right, sir, please.
Why not? Why not? You see, I'm wearing the glasses. So whatever I'll see will see through the glasses. That's why supervisor is required. That's
Mm,
why the regular review is required. That's why we have the entire process of, let's say, evaluation of research, so that the the, the, the best possible bias-less output may emerge. I'm not saying that if my work is being evaluated or being, say, discussed by one more professor, then we'll be able to eliminate the bias. No. Rather, I'll say then now it will be having 2 biases, 3 biases, 4, and so on. So then uh, it will be having a generalized approach where bias of everybody is now existing, but in a very small quantity. That's why you say, no, it's not biased. No, it's a bias-free kind of thing. It's having this shade, that shade, and every shade is there. That's why it's bias-free. So individuals are individuals. They have their, say, understanding. They wear their respect, and obviously, bias is bound to happen.
Right, right. Thank you, sir, for sort of corroborating my point on this. Sir, I wanted to move to certifications, the point of certification. So you are certified in several international and national certifications, such as Certified Information System Auditor and Accredited Management Teacher. How important do you think certifications are in the current job market? And in your career, how they have helped you?
Wow. Again, in my case, it was a necessity at that time. So what was the necessity? Say, maybe about the information systems audit or maybe accredited management teacher. Because my formal education is from commerce. I'm MCom PhD. Early 90s, I started studying computers. I started teaching computers to the CA students. Then in 1997, Professor J.N. Bhargav handed over the baton to me to handle this paper in my business school run by University of Allahabad to handle the management information systems. Then now it was my responsibility. Over a period of time, I became the first member of board of studies of various triple ITs of the country. So I helped them to chalk out their curriculum related to electronic commerce and management area of this branch of study. But I was myself not qualified. So I thought I must have some qualification. That's why I went for this qualification of Certified Information Systems Auditor. So now I can audit the information systems running at the moment, and I can audit the process of development of information systems and so on and so forth. So I know the information systems. In the case of business also, or in the case of this ISO lead auditor, I realized that what, say, if you're talking about the management, then what is the standard management methodology? Where is that? Where is that? When I started talking to my colleagues across the country, nobody was in a position to let me know where is one simple model, which may be termed as standard management model for any organization. So I started studying more and more and more. And then I found that ISO 9001 is the standard model for running any organization. Although they call it quality management system, I say remove the word quality. It's a management system. When this management system is oriented towards quality, that's why the International Organization for Standardization is saying quality management system. That's a management system. And any management system has to be oriented towards the quality. So I learned this ISO 9001. Similarly, when I started teaching management students, so I thought, oh, you see, I'm not MBA. How can I be a good teacher? So let me get this say satisfaction that yeah, I'm competent enough to teach management students, although I'm a commerce student. So I found that All India Management Association is giving this say label or the certification to the teachers, because at that time there was a dearth of management teachers in the country. So they offered this AMP, accredited management teacher. So when I found that AMA, that is All India Management Association, is offering this certification, so I went there, I qualified their parameters, multi-layer, say, checkings or the inspection or the examinations and the panel interview conducted by various vice chancellors of or the directors of IIMs. And then they certified me as accredited management teacher. So this was all, say, like we say now, necessity of mother of invention. So in my case, it happened. But nowadays, in the present scenario, the knowledge is evolving. I don't know at what pace. It's beyond imagination.
Right.
Every morning, your understanding of yesterday's discipline evaporates.
Right.
Every morning, you have something new. So what can you do? You cannot survive with the old information, old knowledge, old understanding. You have to keep on updating yourself. The old is important, is relevant, but it'll be like operating system. And the application software is the new knowledge. Application software is the new understanding, which you need to take, understand, reskill yourself every day. So in modern times, certification, reskilling is really important. You will fail eventually if you're not spending on it. I'll say an hour today.
So, do you think the importance of certifications or upskilling and updating has even gone up a notch after the pandemic?
Yes, yes, we are more exposed to the available, volume of knowledge. Before pandemic, we were not that much aware. We were living in our cocoons and in that small pound of the well, and we were happy enough. But during the pandemic, we were having no option but to go to net. So internet or the World Wide Web, which was not that much utilized before the pandemic, got significant utilization during the pandemic. And this opened the vistas of knowledge for each one of us. And now we realize now, the more you learn, the more you don't know. The more the circle of knowledge, larger the area which you don't know. So, yeah, you have to identify the area in which you want to work and then keep on learning more and more in that area.
So, before I move to the final question, I have an additional question to the one that it's in continuity. So, we are seeing a lot of edtech platforms, e-learning platforms cropping up in the last 2, 3. And of course, there was a demand that they were fulfilling. Do you think that now there is a demand and supply issue because too many edtech platforms have come up, and do you think this is kind of uh, negating the presence of uh, the educational institutions which are more physical in nature, like the old age educational institutions? Do you think they are kind of in loggerheads with them?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for this beautiful question. Uh, at times, yes, at times, no. When the student is not having that kind of background, which one should have before being able to utilize the information systems or the platforms, then the person need to be trained manually. Okay, you can't teach a person to swim without pushing him into the swimming pool. And the trainer has to be by the side of the swimmer. Similarly, if you want to ride a bicycle, then you can't learn with the help of EdTech platforms. A lot of such things are there where the person who is trying to impart the knowledge with the help of EdTech platforms will not be able to connect with the genuine needs, actual needs of the recipient. So, from that perspective, we need hand holding. And yeah, thanks to this tech platforms, we are in a position to give this option to those who are comfortable with the basics, so they have that background and are in a position to receive not many things with the help of tech platforms. So there is no conflict between the two. Both are there and they are going to stay.
Right. They can be complementary in nature and not have a
Yes.
conflict between.
Yes.
So, sir, this brings me to the final question.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, you have been involved in corporate trainings for many years now.
Mhm.
In your opinion, what are some of the key skills that professionals nowadays need to succeed in today's fast-paced corporate environment?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. Uh, Two things are there. Only two things are there. One, I have already shared with you. That is emotional intelligence.
Right.
You cannot be efficient with the human beings. You can be efficient with the machines, with the equipments, with the physical assets, but not with human beings. You can only be effective with human beings. This effectiveness needs a lot of time. This effectiveness cannot follow certain key parameters or thumb rules. This is something related to emotional connect with the other person. So this is first and foremost. Then second, you are in a position to connect yourself with the other person, but you are sounding empty, so nothing will happen. So you have to be technically equipped, qualified, and in a position to contribute as well. So two things are there. One, emotional maturity, emotional connect, and two, latest understanding of the, say, knowledge, information within the area of your uh, responsibilities of the function.
I hope professionals who are listening to us, they might have taken some notes to the points that Professor Saab mentioned. Sir, this was a very, very insightful conversation that we have had today. And I thank you a lot for giving us your precious time and taking us through this vast journey of yours through academia, through corporate, through your journey of being an author. And it was a really, really insightful conversation, sir.
Thank you, thank you. I enjoyed communicating with you, although I was a little nervous because this is my first, say, appearance as a person in on the podcast. But you made me so comfortable, and yeah, I enjoyed. I enjoyed. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to have many more such conversations. Thank you very much.
So, viewers, this was Professor Arun Kumar. You heard about his vast experience, his journey, and thank you for joining us. And we'll see you soon in our next episode. Thank you.